Hello again, everyone. So, right now we are joined again by Theo and Ruzivo, who are going to talk to us a little bit about busting fostering myths. So, there are so many myths and misconceptions, ideas that we think stop us from becoming foster parents, and that is what Theo and Ruzivo are going to talk to us today. So, you already know both of them. I would love to hear from you. What are the most common myths that you hear from potential carers, and how are they not true, or which ones of them are true? Oh, you guys are muted.
I have a slide here which I will try to share if possible, but then allow myself and Theo to talk. Okay, so I'm going to share this slide. Um, so we can start with this one. Um, there you are, Theo. I can't force it because I'm too fat. What do you think about that? Um, okay, you have to unmute yourself, Theo.
Okay.
There you are. Go on.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining again. Um, with fostering, right? We do medical checks on people. So because we do medical checks, medical check when we do a medical check, it's what our doctor. If our doctor says somebody is medically fit to foster, then they're able to foster. So that's not. When our doctor says somebody is not medically fit, it's not normally linked to their weight or anything like that. It's just, maybe they've just got the condition which can hinder them from fostering. But saying that you're too fat, no, that's definitely is not a reason somebody to not to foster, or for somebody to say I don't want to apply, because it's really to do with what our medical doctor says. That's all, you see. And our doctor doesn't really go along, doesn't say, oh, doesn't look at your weight and then automatically says, right, you can't foster. No, it doesn't. It's not quite like that, you see. So that definitely is a myth which I would say is wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you, Theo. Definitely, it's wrong. Um, and can I even add another one here, Theo? One
Yes.
says, "I work. Can I foster? I work."
Yeah. Again, if working fostering, it is possible, but when you're a single carer, whether you're single female or single male carer, it is slightly more difficult to be able to work whilst you're fostering. When if you're a couple, that's very straightforward. It's very easy for one of you to be working full time, the other one working, in most of the foster work, you see. But to say that you can't work and foster, no, that's not 100% accurate. If you've got a good enough support network around you, so that if you're going to work and your support network is able to jump in, then absolutely you'll be able to work and foster.
Yeah, and I can see some of them that have been put up here by Lizzie. I'll try to tackle one of them. I'll tackle two of them, but Theo, I'll throw this one for you. I have a police record, so once I've done these two, then you, Theo, can come and talk about the one that says police record. So Lizzie says, I had depression, so I can't foster. And I want to say to you that I don't want to take Lizzie's testimony, but she's a testimony to that. I mean, you can actually foster. We have people who have been through that. They are managing it, or they have gone past it and everything else. So if you had depression, you can still foster. The difference is when you are under depression and you're failing or you're struggling to manage it. But if you're managing that, and or whether you've had it historically, it doesn't matter. You can still become a foster carer. I think with many medical conditions, there are some that it says, fit to further, whether you had sugar, before, or high blood pressure, or diabetes, sorry, high blood pressure, and all those things. The encouragement is just for you to be able to manage those things, because you even become exemplary to the children on how they can also manage their own medical conditions, because you as a foster carer, you are being exemplary on how the importance of managing your own health conditions. So yes, you can still foster. And he says here, I have never had children, my own children. We have quite a number of foster carers who have never had their own children, and they're very, very, very good foster carers. So absolutely no, it's not true. You can still be a foster carer. Do you want to add something to this?
Yeah, I would like to add. I wanted to go back a little bit on the depression one. The one on the depression is if you're currently taking medication for depression, it means for at that time we definitely won't be able to process your application. You see, and it doesn't mean that when you stop taking the medication, that's when we normally give you up to a year. So a year from the day you stop, then you definitely be able to apply, and the depression won't affect now your application. You see, but what does affect is if you're currently taking the medication. You see, so that definitely will affect. You see, and then there's the other one which you were saying about
Police records.
the police records. Yes, yeah. Again, with the police record, to be honest with you, when it comes to police records, non-declaration is the worst thing you can do. So if you know that you've had some form of caution or something, no matter how far back it is, it's better on the day that we visit, you just declare. It's better you over declare than for you to say, "Oh, that happened about 10 years ago." I think that is still on the yes. Because if you don't declare and then something comes up, no matter how trivial it is, to think, no matter how trivial it is, it can stop your application, because non-declaration is the same as dishonesty, and that means we've already started on a bad foot. You see, so that's the reason why it's taken seriously. So it's better for you to just declare. So long as you've had something that where the police were involved or something like that, it's better you declare it. You see, and then sometimes you can declare something, and then when the DBS comes back, it doesn't show. That's fine. Then the other way around, where you don't declare, then it shows. Then that's a worse situation to put yourself in.
Oh, thank you very much, Theo. We want to welcome Nyasha. Eventually she's managed to log in. So what I'll do, I'll make way for Nyasha. So I'll be asking Theo and Nyasha some questions. If you can unmute yourself, Nyasha, please, then I can engage you on this one. Are you able to unmute yourself, Nyasha? Okay. While she's trying to figure out what to do, technical team, please help.
Here we are. I can unmute myself. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm using someone else's laptop.
Yeah, I know the lighting is not that
we can't see you.
Moment, but yeah.
Yeah. Let me do it this way. Sorry. I'm using someone else's laptop.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, there we are.
Oh, that's better.
That's much better.
That's much better. Yes, I was facing the wrong way around.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I've borrowed someone else's laptop to see whether I can have better luck with this now.
Oh, that's brilliant. So now I've got more questions here that I want to ask both of you. So one says here, would I be classified as unsuitable to foster as I do not have the finances to fund the foster child to go to university?
Yeah, I've just replied to that. I said that not at all. The local authority are responsible for children going to university, but most children will get a loan like anyone else to fund their university fees. So that's not a reason for you not to foster. So it's a very good question to ask, because people have got so many. I call this one of the fostering myths, because people they exclude themselves. So I can't do this because I can't pay school fees for the child to go. And also a child having driving license, again, they should really come out of their pocket money, or if they've got a job. And if you want to contribute, you want to contribute. But that's another thing which the local authority normally contributes, someone who wants to learn to drive.
Thank you very much, Nyasha, for that. I think, in our presentations or in our explanation of the process of applying, we speak or we mention a lot of the need to fill a lot of forms and everything else. And what might say, I'm dyslexic or I can't fill forms, I'm not confident in filling forms. Can that really eliminate me from actually applying?
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things we do is to help you with filling forms. We don't leave people. Some people are quite forms can be quite intimidating. They need to be done, but we need to get some help. Or you can get help within the household. You might be personally, but your daughter or your son or your husband or your wife might be able to help you filling the form. Not only your backups, and Banya, as members of staff, we can help you, because honestly, some people really find, I mean, people who don't even have problems with writing, whatever, have problems with when they receive a form. They say, oh my God, where do I start? And that's something really we can walk through with you. We can do it with you. Give us the answer.
Theo, do you have something?
I just wanted to add on a little bit onto that. That is, there are certain forms where the expectation is for the applicant to fill them in fully. You see, I'll give you example, like a consent form, right? That's something we can't fill on behalf of somebody. We'll be able to say to them, look, this form, we'll be able to show them what they need to do, but we can't do it on their behalf. And, a DBS form is another one. But certain forms where we can help with the filling in, and then
they need to sign. Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, even a DBF, we can help them fill it in, but we cannot sign it.
Yeah.
The same thing with the consent form is that we can help fill them in their name and their address, but the signature, we can never do that on behalf of anybody.
Yeah.
But we can, the whole form, we can fill it in, and all they need to do is to sign it and provide us with the information.
Thank you for that. So Theo, I live in a flat. I don't have a garden.
Yeah, that's a good question, but yeah, because when we're looking for families, right? Isn't what I would like to say a perfect family. You know what I mean? So families, you get families that live in a flat, families that live in a bungalow, some families that live in a semi-detached. So it doesn't really matter. What we're really after is you have the space, you have the time, you have the love for children. That's what we're really after. The fact that you're in a flat or not in a flat is not what we're after. So so being in a flat, just to let you know, we are in the process of trying to this is our first one. This is somebody who lives in a boat. So you can see it doesn't stop you think it doesn't stop you being in a flat.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Feel free to come in, Nyasha, if you want to add anything to this. The next one is, I am too young. I am too young.
Yes, what does too young mean? Are you 16? My understanding, the fostering age really should start when you're 18. And if we look at the current profile of our carers or general, someone did some statistics recently. The average age of the foster care in UK, I think the woman is 46 and the man is 53. Someone did, I think it was Fostering Network, which did that statistics. So what we, age, we can't discriminate anyone according to age, but I think you need to be an adult. And the upper age, we don't have an upper age. You need to be medically fit to foster. It's got nothing to do with your age. If your doctor says you're medically fit to foster when you're 74 or 80, that's fine. You continue fostering. But the other thing is about life experience. It's almost like becoming a social worker. I always feel that you need to have had some life experience, which you can bring as to the fostering role. And I always say you need to have lived a bit. But and some people at 18, they've lived a lot because of their background they've gone through. So it's more about resilience, really, how you've coped with challenges, what you've lived with, and how you've coped with it, more than I'm too young.
Oh, thank you very much for that. So that's not, so you've charged on both. There's no upper limit in terms of age. And there's a question that just came in the chat there. It says, I don't drive. I'm not a driver. I don't have a driving license.
Yes, you don't need to drive at all to be a foster carer, and you don't need a driving license to be a foster carer. You can use the public transport. How are you looking after your children today if you don't drive? You know what I mean? Anybody can. That's not a reason. But again, it's a myth out there. People say, "Oh, I can't drive, therefore I can't foster." But that's not reality. There's lots of functioning households with nobody drives. So how are you living your life today? Yeah. How do you go about? And the foster child will use those means, including walking.
Yeah, did you want to add something there?
No, I completely agree with Nyasha. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So you can take this one. I rent.
Well, renting definitely.
Oh yeah.
It's not. It's not something that stops you, but the only thing that we do require when you're renting is a landlord consent. You see, once we get a landlord consent, then that's fine. You see, without the landlord consent it's the landlord really that will prevent you from fostering. It's not Banya. You see, so renting in itself is not enough for you not to foster. But if the landlord says no, I don't want my property to be used, you now need to make a decision. Do I still want to stay here, or shall I just move somewhere where I'm going to get consent? You see?
So the landlord can be either the local authority if it's in or a housing association, right?
Okay, if it's a local authority and housing association, most of the time, where they give consent to that anyway. So those are not the ones that I'm talking about. I'm talking more about private renting. If you're renting privately, that's the one that really needs the landlord consent. The housing association and the local authority. Well, with the housing association, sometimes what they do, they'll say to you, can you go through the process, and if when you're approved, then we can then be able to give you the consent or something like that. You see, but local authorities, I mean, I would be surprised if you get a local authority that says, look, I don't give consent. I'll be very surprised by that.
Okay, thank you so much for this. Nyasha, this one is the issue of sexuality.
Nyasha, this is a bit of noise in the background.
Hello, sorry about that. I've had to move. I'm now in the garden, sunny garden.
I know today you've had a lot of you know, challenges.
Yeah, I've had
but
lots
anyway,
of hassle today. I'm not at home. Sorry about that.
So one says I'm gay. I mean, can I foster, or I can't foster because I'm gay? Is that right? Is that true?
No, definitely not. Again, it's another very big myth out there. A lot of people exclude themselves from fostering because of these myths around. In UK, I know there is, I mean, worldwide, it's just not the UK, there's a diverse composition of households. And one of them is being gay, same-sex relationship, whether it's a man and two men or two women living together. We've got foster carers who are gay.
So that's not a limitation as well. Yeah.
No, it's absolutely not a limitation. In Banya, we've even got one case of where it's one woman with two men. You know.
Yes, we had one.
We've got one case like that within Banya.
Yes.
So
yes.
So I mean, that definitely doesn't stop somebody being gay.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So, I mean, on the same one, so I'm a single man or I'm a single mother.
Yeah. Yes, again, it's one of the many diverse households, being a single single person bringing up your own child, whether you're single dad or single mom. We've had single dads, we've had single moms become foster carers. We've had couples come to us and they've separated during their fostering career and have gone off and fostered for us in their different roles. So as I said, when we first started Banya, 60% of our carers were single. I don't know what, I think now it's 50-50.
Wow. Yeah, very good statistics there. Yeah.
The only thing I would like to add when you're a single carer is that it's important to have a good support network.
That's right.
That's the only thing about being single, that you do need to have a good network around you. And sometimes, because we do a lot of support groups every month, so let's say a carer is struggling to get a good support network, you could end up befriending other foster carers who live around you, and then you can end up being backup to each other. But we've got quite a few carers who are like that, who are backups to each other. You see?
Yeah, it's definitely a very important thing, but that is true of a single carer or a couple. We're always looking about your support networks. Who is going to support you in a fostering role? Who can come and babysit for you if you want to go somewhere, or the child can go with you wherever you're going, even to have respite to go shopping with other children. And we do that anyway with our own children. We need to have, it's very difficult to bring up a child all by yourself. You need to have that level of support. And when you're single, that's even more highlighted.
Thank you very much for that. And there's another one here that says, I smoke.
Oh, that's a very interesting one. It doesn't exclude you, but you can't look after babies. It's under the practice of passive smoking. You cannot smoke in front of the children anyway. But if you're a smoker, you're gonna have to smoke outside, and it's got to be 4+. You can't have babies in your house. It's just a rule, but it does not exclude you to become fostering. And according to good health anyway, that's one thing. I'm sure your GP or Banya will be encouraging you to give up smoke. It's not a very good habit to have anyway in terms of your health, but it does not exclude you to become a foster carer.
Okay, thank you very much for that one. And then the other one is that I have some form of disability.
Yes, it depends. Again, we've got quite a few carers at Banya who are disabled, physically disabled, and it depends on the nature. And again, it boils down to your GP, that your GP say you're medically fit to foster. and that includes disability, that includes learning difficulties, and your mental health as well. So that shouldn't be the reason. And the other thing will go by, have you looked after? And even if you're disabled, are you a parent? How did you manage? So that is the that's what really we focus on.
Okay, Theo, do you want to add something? I heard you coming in.
There's something about being a teacher.
Oh yes,
I'm just reading some of the questions on here.
Yeah, go ahead. I've seen that one. Yes, yeah.
Yes, yes, and it doesn't matter what profession you are. You get assessed like anybody else. Again, it's availability. Have you got a spare room? How are you going to look after your own children and your foster children within your profession and your job? And it was quite interesting about the question about that they didn't do well themselves in education. We've got quite a few carers who didn't do very well in their education, and have managed to really be quite an advocate because they now appreciate what they missed. So they're really good on supporting children with homework, catching up with the school, and some of them have actually learned quite a lot with the children. Whatever the subject is. And so I was never good at this maths or whatever it was, and helping a child, whatever they've learned together. The main thing is just encouraging and supporting the young person. Say, look, this is important. Where's your homework? Let's have a look together. Because some people didn't have that encouragement for whatever reason themselves. That might be the reason why they didn't do school. Their parents were not around, or the parents didn't value education, or there's so many reasons why people didn't do well at school, but that doesn't make them, they're not able to support a young person.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right, Nyasha. I want to throw this one to Theo. I live in a 2-bedroom house, of which one of the bedrooms is downstairs.
One of the bedrooms is downstairs.
Wow.
Okay.
I think the foster carer will have to sleep downstairs.
That one, we normally encourage the foster carers to be downstairs, but it is possible. Let's say they wanted to become like specialist carer and they want to do like mother and baby, for example, then that could be possible for them for the mother and baby to be downstairs whilst they are upstairs. But generally, we prefer have the situation whereby the foster carers are on a lower level or the same level as the
definitely
as the children themselves. So let's say you've got 2 stories, and then hopefully the first story is where you're going to put carers. I mean, where the family will sleep, and then on the second story now, even if the foster children go there, that's fine. But for the ground floor one, if they've got something like a mother and baby, like I said, then that could work. Sometimes even if you've got like a teenager, that could also work. But generally speaking, we prefer having the child either on a floor above or the same as the family itself.
Okay. Thank you so much for that one. The other one that I want to bring in is that I heard that if I become a foster carer, it will affect my benefits.
No.
No, definitely not.
Doesn't
it depends. Yeah, definitely not. And the government have been extremely generous around carers allowance. And it's only when you have got 3 children or above that your income will affect your salary. Because if you remember, 75% of the allowance is for you to spend on the child, and only 25% of the allowance is
Okay, a bit of a glitch there. Theo, you can pick up.
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. What was the question again? Sorry.
It was about the I am on benefits. I heard that if
Yeah.
I
Oh
come,
no, the benefits definitely don't affect. Um, Unless you've now got say 3 placements and above, then that's when it can affect. You see, generally speaking, no.
okay. I heard that in foster cares for private or for independent agencies are given difficult children, and less difficult children go to local authorities.
I don't know what a difficult and less difficult child is, but I think the best way of looking at it is like this: local authority, right? Who have, let's say, so many children that need placement. It is in their interest, of course, to first look in-house. I mean, that makes sense. You see, they have to look in-house first. And then when they fail to get somebody in-house, that's when they outsource it to the independent force. It can never be the other way around, where they'll look outside before they look inside. You see, the advantage of Banya now is that because we're registered with so many local authorities, then it means that you're open also to all those local authorities. You see, unlike if you're just with the local authority, then it means you can only ever get a child from that local authority. You see, in terms of difficulty, to be honest, I don't. There isn't much difference in terms of difficulty. Banya though does pride itself in doing lots of training. So so even if you do face children that are difficult, there's a good chance that there's some training that we've given you that will help you or equip you to be able to manage or to cope with the placement.
Okay. Thank you so much, Theo, and thank you so much, Nyasha. Unfortunately, again, she's had some challenges in technology. If in the absence of any other questions, probably we can draw the curtain in the interest of our time as well. But do you have any final words to say, Theo, to our listeners?
Yeah, what I would just like to say is that um, don't stop yourself, or don't not pick up the phone because you've made an assumption about something, about what fostering is about. It's better you pick up the phone and clear, pick up the phone, and then you'll be surprised that some of the things you had in your head, where or some of the things you are literally sure that this will definitely stop me. You'll be surprised that it might not necessarily stop you. So I would still just urge you to pick up the phone and then clear the myths yourself. You see, instead of making assumptions that obviously it must mean that or this. So yeah, that is what I would just like to say to anybody who's thinking becoming a foster care.
Okay, this is final question here. My wife working as a carer for about 4 years. Can she continue her job as a carer? My wife is working as a carer. Can
I
she continue?
believe what they mean is that the wife is a carer, but not a foster carer, maybe another type of
Yeah.
carer. And they're asking if they can become a couple that does fostering while she continues her job, which could be full-time or part-time as a carer.
Um, so is this if this is a case of where the husband is the one who's going to be the fostering, whilst the wife is the one who's the carer and wants to continue, it's absolutely okay, because we do have that situations where the wife is the one that's going to work and the husband is the one that is at home as a full-time foster carer. So there's no problem with that, you see. But when you're a couple, there is that expectation that one of you will be a full-time foster carer, and the other one they can work part-time, full-time, or also be a full-time foster care. So if the husband is the one who's going to be at home, then yes, she can definitely continue as a carer.
Okay. Thank you so much.